When you're living in a dream in the future, you see a lot of challenges that you need to overcome, and you think that you're not ready for it. So when you're not ready for something in the future, you get anxious. But if you're stuck in the past, you get depressed.
Yeah.
So there
Just
is...
like on this continuum,
Correct.
you're either here or there unless you can find your alignment.
You have to bring yourself to presence, and there is a strategy to bring yourself to presence. I actually say, dare to dream awake. That means bring yourself to presence and envision your future. This is why we have vision boards. That's why we have visionaries.
True.
So that you can imagine your future and then live up to it.
Yeah.
And this is how you find your purpose. You find your purpose in the present. You don't find your purpose in the past or the future.
Welcome to Events Demystified Podcast, where we explore and demystify the world of in-person, virtual, hybrid event AV production and technology by sharing insightful tips, tricks and tactics to make your events a success. This podcast is brought to you by Tree Fan Events, a woman-owned boutique event production agency. And your host is Anka Trifan, a technical event planner and producer with almost 2 decades of hands-on technical experience in event production.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Events Demystified Podcast, recorded live at the AI Experience Tour in Anaheim, California, with another wonderful guest. This time, I have Sam Sater. Sam, thank you for joining me live. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what brings you here.
Thank you, Anka. I am Sam Sater. I'm a medical oncologist by training for many years. I had a personal journey of burnout that led me to discover how we could improve on mental health. And I realized mental health is an essential part of wellness. I realized that I can add value to the people that are on the seek of their own wellness in a personalized and unique way.
So, there's this stigma about mental health, especially when it comes to men being aware of it and admitting that that is a problem. Secondly, you're a cancer doctor. You went on this spiritual journey. You came to this understanding of your own limitations. You dealt with burnout, and then you came to the other side wanting to bring more awareness to the problem and provide a solution.
Yes.
Let's unpack that. How did it all started, and where are you on this journey now?
Sure. So I came up from a background of multitudes of traumas, which I don't call anymore traumas. I consider them like limiting beliefs. And when you know your limiting beliefs, you realize the gifts that were given to you that identify you and make who you are. I got up on the ladder of academics, and I became an overachiever, going from Lebanon to Belgium to New York to
I don't
DC.
think I know one immigrant that has not tried so hard in this country to just get to the highest level of their capacity. I've spoken with so many guests, and when that is the one common denominator, I can tell that they've worked really hard to get where they are.
100%. That's why I say it's the gift.
It is.
So all the challenges that
And a
you
curse.
had, not really.
Not anymore.
So when you hear me out, you'll see that these are the gifts, but you have to realize them. You have to accept. You have to learn certain aspects that you haven't had before in your life. For example, gratitude, like acceptance. These are principles that were just abstract. When I realized that these are not abstract and there is a strategy to get there, like wealth. Wealth is a strategy to get
Right.
there. It doesn't just happen. It's not like rain will fall on you or any of that sort.
In
But
the form of dollar bills.
Exactly. So we come from third world countries. We come from countries that had seen war, that had seen famine, that had seen generational traumas. But then I realized something very important. It wasn't just me. It was everyone in my village. It was everyone in my country. And then I realized everyone around the world is affected by mental health challenges. And the way I realized that is I went into complete burnout.
Yeah.
During my going through the ladder of overachievement and taking on that persona, and understanding, for example, that I had limiting beliefs like perfectionism, overachievement, fear of failure. All of those are actually real problems that every one of us that come from that side of the world and coming to the world of opportunities like America, right?
Yeah.
You want to achieve and achieve and achieve. And guess what happens in America? People give you bits and pieces for you to grow, but then when you see that you're actually working against your values, you're misaligned, you get into a state of burnout. And this is what happened to me. I built many programs. I practiced medicine in different countries. I practiced in tertiary care centers. I practiced in the periphery, meaning places where they're underserved. And I started realizing that there is a goal for all what I'm doing. And this is how I started to find my purpose and my way out of burnout. And what I tried to do is to identify who I am. So I did a journey of self-discovery from the time I was born all the way to the time where I was curing stage 4 cancer and helping people live much more than live like beyond the national average, meaning lung cancer patients, for example, in stage 4 living 1-2 years. My patients were living 5-6 years or more. And I started to look into it and see what made me different, what was I doing different to help my patients. And when I discovered that, I discovered a way out. So I became my own doc. And then I started digging further and further. I read over 300 books in psychology, neuroscience, quantum physics, sociology, you name it. I visited with therapists.
You were on a journey of discovery.
100%. And I visited with therapists, I visited with coaches, but I realized that I didn't have a clear answer. And I'm a scientist. I need to go to the deepest levels of this. And there was no good answer. It was all one gunshot diagnosis and a pill. You're familiar with anxiety, depression, and they make it fancy, generalize, measure, etc. For me, I couldn't sit with this. As a physician and a scientist, and after I saw the whole world is affected by it, and people are stigmatized and labeled.
Right.
I was stigmatized, I was labeled, and I realized this is not fair.
Yeah.
I understood that I was in a phase where I was blind. This is what limiting beliefs do. Shame, fear, all of that, they go in hiding. So they don't show up. And when you expose them, this is where you get to the awareness. You get to another level of consciousness that is needed for you to make a difference, to go from phase 1 to phase 2, from phase of burnout to the phase of living, to be who you are. Without awareness, you really can't go anywhere. If you don't have the roadmap, you're lost.
How do people get to that level of awareness? Because there's people that might have the ability to be self-aware that way, but there's also a large majority that have a really vague understanding of themselves, of who they are, and they're still on a path searching for that self.
Let me break it down for you. When we're born with a true identity. Life experiences, rejections from your parents, friends, authority figures.
Alter that.
It alters that. So the code gets overwritten by other codes. We call them limiting beliefs. And now when you have a false identity that you're living up to because you were told you're such and such, Baran, for example, and you adore that parent, you would live up to that expectation. Now people look for celebrities, values, etc. So they detach themselves from true identity and personal values to attach themselves to other people's values, and this is where the chaos happens. For you to get to the level of awareness, especially if you have a challenge like that, especially if you can't see who you truly are, there are elements that were given to us as human beings. First is connection. A woman and a man, when they're in a relationship, they mirror to each other. Like if you're married to a man, the man is always showing you your hidden spots. And you show the man his hidden spots. And guess what happens in marriages usually? They are showing each other those hidden spots, and they keep arguing and fighting for years without understanding that each one of them is actually trying to help the other person and not putting pressure on them.
Right.
But guess what happens? That person who had challenges as a child, limiting beliefs, those are very hurtful.
Yeah.
So when I tell you or criticize you about something in you, and I see and I'm trying to do well by you, I'm actually trying to show you something. But if I said it in a way that is offensive,
or triggering,
then I'm actually triggering your point of pain.
Yeah.
But you're not growing. So for growth to happen, you need the right connection.
Yeah.
You need the right people. and you need the right incubator.
So whom you surround yourself with matter.
Exactly.
Do you have a choice over that if that family, it's toxic, if the environment you're in is toxic?
So I have a different approach on toxic because I don't think there is toxicity in the sense of, that's another labeling.
It is a label, absolutely.
Yes. So for me, I look at either a blind person or aware. The blind will actually mirror to you from their blind spots. If they're having negative energy, they're going to project the energy on you.
Right.
God gave you intuition.
Yeah.
That God-given intuition is reflected in your feelings. You and I are talking together and you feel my energy and you know that I'm a positive person, you will feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So if you have a supportive friend or a supportive parent, you know that they're going to help you out.
Yeah.
That kind of connection is what is needed to increase awareness in somebody who is still at the level of low awareness. I actually do an analogy over that, and I say people either are in the present moment, this is the power of now by Eckhart Tolle, or they're stuck in a dream of the past. And guess what? When you're in a dream, you're powerless. You can't move. This is Learned Helplessness by Mark Seligman.
But they could also be living in the future, even though they're in the present.
Yes.
I remember in my 20s, literally wasting years of my life living in the future and not taking joy in the present, because I always wanted to be so many steps ahead, so many years ahead, so many things ahead, but I missed the present while I was doing that.
Because you're living to an expectation, so you're living in a dream where you're in the future.
Yeah.
And when you're living in a dream in the future, you see a lot of challenges that you need to overcome, and you think that you're not ready for it. So when you're not ready for something in the future, you get anxious. But if you're stuck in the past, you get depressed.
Yeah.
So there
So
is...
it's like on this continuum,
Correct.
you're either here or there unless you can find your alignment.
You have to bring yourself to presence, and there is a strategy to bring yourself to presence. I actually say, dare to dream awake. That means bring yourself to presence and envision your future. This is why we have vision boards. That's why we have visionaries.
It's true.
So that you can imagine your future and then live up to it.
Yeah.
And this is how you found your purpose. You find your purpose in the present. You don't find your purpose in the past or the future.
I love it. I remember I was actually 12 when I came about this one postcard that had the Statue of Liberty. And I was looking as a 12-year-old at the Statue of the Liberty and imagining myself that I would see it in person before I even knew what vision boards were. Like, I had no vocabulary for that. It took me until I was 21 to actually immigrate to the United States. Only recently, actually, this year, 22 years later from when I came to US, I had the opportunity to finally see the Statue of Liberty in person. We're talking about 30 years from the moment I saw that postcard to the moment I saw it in person. That's a very long time.
It is a long time.
To want to see something come true and to live for it, but then to just come into being. So let's go back to a few things that you said, the strategy of how to become aware. Let's talk a little bit about that so we can give people some tools. What are some of the things that you can provide either from advice or from maybe a particular place, like if there's a link they can go to or where they can learn more? What are some tools that you have at your fingerprints to help people get there?
Yeah, there are different ways to get back to the present moment and be aware. One of the key things is using your senses. There are exercises known in psychology about that. For example, using all your senses, 5 senses. For example, count things in your eye that you see, then listen to things so you name different sounds when you're actually stuck in a state where you're not conscious. Like when you're in a dream.
Yeah.
So to get out of the dream, to get out of the depression or anxiety, you ground yourself by using your senses. Feel things.
Yeah.
That's why we advise people, when you're having a lunch with someone, enjoy the lunch, enjoy the presence of that person. Don't be on your cell phone.
Yeah.
These are simple things, but also if you're doing any activity, like let's say you're having a shower, feel the water that is going on you, because these experiences will make you get back to presence. So that's one aspect to the awareness. There is another aspect to the awareness, which is the identity awareness. Like,
Yeah.
Where
a
am I?
huge one, especially as we went through COVID.
Yes, exactly.
An entire industry, we lost people in our industry, in the event industry, because one of the main things that they lost when we went through that time was themselves. Who am I if I am not what I'm doing?
100%, because you're linking your identity
To what you do.
to what you're doing. So you are a human doing, but guess what? We are human beings.
True.
And that is a whole another aspect. But for you to know who
Yeah.
you are as a human being, you have to take away all the blinders. Because I believe that we have either people that are blinded or actually aware.
Yeah.
So for you to see, you have to take all the filters out. These filters that you put onto yourself because you have the power of choice, they were like programs that were downloaded into your brain before the age of 7.
Yeah.
That's what Sigmund Freud talked about and many other psychology. Those programs happened in a way that you were supposed to grow emotionally or neuroemotionally to have the right wiring in your brain. But when you're living in an environment that is so harsh and rejecting and demeaning and devaluating, you internalize that as if you are not worthy, you're not enough, etc. So you change the meanings of things, and that blind you. Then now, the God-given light for you to have insight, to see who you are, if you look in the mirror and see who you are, is diffracted because you have a lens, you have a prism deep inside filled with shame, fear, you name it, and that source of light that was given to you is not coming out as real light, all that white light, which has all the spectrum of reality. So what happens, our ego becomes bruised, diseased, and then you look at yourself with a completely distorted way, and you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So what do you do typically? You want to connect yourself to another value that you think is higher. So faith is one, and that helps for sure.
Yeah.
But also people, unfortunately, link themselves to other values like work, overachievement, etc., to fill a gap in their ego dysfunction. And the ego is meant to bring you back to reality. The more you are disconnected from your reality or from your true self, your ego will be in chaos. I call that brain fibrillation.
Yeah.
In other sense that you are not aligned. And when you're not aligned, you go to have escape mechanisms. And those escape mechanisms are depression, anxiety, because you don't want to live.
Even like eating
Addiction,
addictions, so many things.
Self-sabotage, PTSD,
Yeah.
all these, medical,
Yeah.
mental issues.
Mental.
Yes, and we wanted to bring that out from the stigma to make it a medical level of care and make it personal, because you are different from me, I'm different from anyone else, and what works for you does not necessarily work for me, but there is a framework to do that.
Absolutely.
And that framework can apply to everyone, but it has to be personalized.
So in the age of AI, because now we have the power of AI to look at all this data and analyze so many patterns and come up with this personalized framework for each individual, how do you leverage that in your specialty?
Great question. So for me, I started looking at things from a completely different angle. I was new to the field of mental health in that sense, although I'm not new in that sense because I was a doctor all my life and I was doctoring patients, helping them. And
But that gave you an advantage, because then you can
Exactly.
see things from a different angle.
when I started to realize, Anka, that everything is linked and everything happens for a reason, I started linking the dots. So I realized that me becoming a doctor was meant to look into a different angle from what other people were looking at. I looked at mental health as a medical field.
Yeah.
It's not just a mystic
It's not
thing.
just psychology
or
therapies.
and it's not just talk.
Yeah.
There has to be a diagnosis. This is what we, as doctors, do. We have a diagnosis. That's the first step in awareness.
Yeah.
And we have a way to measure how things are evolved at the biomarkers, and this is what we built using AI, and I'll walk you through that. And then we need a strategy to get from state A to state B. And that's how you make a difference. That's how you change your belief. That's how you rewire your brain. And for you to do that, you need to have the key elements that allow you to make a diagnosis. This is what we call, for example, the limiting belief and the core value mapping. The essence of it is that we have AI translating our communication metrics. So you and I, we communicate energy through three things. Audio, how you sound and the frequencies, etc. The video,
Right.
what we see.
perceive.
Exactly. And the third thing is the text, which is basically what you're saying and what you believe. The audio reflects your emotions. The video or the non-verbal language reflects how true you are to that, because your body language does not lie.
Really good, which most people are not.
Yeah, but that's somebody who's
Yes.
very trained on
Yeah.
it. And the last thing is the text, which is what you're saying. And what you're saying is what you think you believe in. Now, when there is a disconnect with what you're saying and how your body language is, we know that there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
And this is how we use AI to detect limiting beliefs from true beliefs, from what you truly believe in and what you don't believe in.
Like a polygraph.
And then when you look at alignment
Yeah.
between what you really believe in and what your actions, that gives us the energy that we're talking about. And that is neuro-emotional energy, and we call it ego battery, because it's truly the function and assessment of the function of the ego to align you to who you truly are.
Got it.
And that's what ego is all about.
All right, so for anyone that would like to connect with you or learn more about the framework, the tools that you're providing, as well as the resources that you put out there, where can they find you?
So we are available online, and our website is www.novorex.org. Our applications are available on our tech site, which is www.novorex.tech. But also they can find me on social media. For doctors and healthcare workers, we built a channel that walks you through all the reasons why you go into burnout or have mental challenges, and gives you tools and understanding of the 5E framework that I talk about. They can reach out by email. It's available on the website, and we're happy to help anyone. And one more thing, we're actually giving a free gift for people
Okay.
that I like to share on your channel, Key Limiting Belief screen, and I can share the barcode for that to help people with it.
We're going to put that in the episode notes. Well, Sam, thank you so much for this conversation. I love this insight into burnout and into the strategies that you had to discover for yourself on your own journey, because those are the type of strategies that someone that they might be in it will be able to pick on and hopefully will help someone out. With that, if you connected with Sam, please follow him, get to learn more about what he's doing these days, and do some of the testing that he's making available through the resources shared. I appreciated that you tune into this conversation. Make sure that you follow or share if it's something that you found value in, and we will see you next time on Events Demystified. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.